you know, dog posts. Like, I know some of us think, you know, it might be a good idea to tie dogs up. No one in this room. But, you know, I do know a young man who, he doesn't do it anymore, but he used to just tie his dog up outside and basically chuck it a bit of food, and it was boiling hot and it had barely anywhere to shelter. And then one day I said to him, why don't you try it yourself, just for a couple of hours? See, it's like doing an asana. Once he did that, he realised, this is really unpleasant. So I think the animals, as we shape-shift from animal to animal, we realise we can't hurt them. You know, we can't really be in snake posture, Bhujangasana, and actually appreciate the snake if we're then going to turn it into a pair of shoes. Like, it doesn't really make sense. So I believe that it kind of goes back to the old story of Merlin and King Arthur, where King Arthur asked Merlin, if I want to be a good king and rule my people wisely, what should I do? And he said, just change into every person, from poor to rich, to people who are different to others, unusual people, to animals, to rocks, to brooks, to rivers, to oceans. And that's what he did for a year. And then he became one of the greatest kings, because he observed every single experience and saw the wonders of being. And so this is what I really love about Jivamukti. So I want to chant a mantra, and then I'd like to chant a sutra, and we're going to get some help. Where's he gone? From our friend. And the reason I asked Leanne to bring him in this morning is because when you hear animals, and this guru who wrote this book, A Garland of Flowers, Swami Nirmalanda, is the middle guru. His whole ashram was filled with animals all the time. They just used to wander in. When you experience animals in your life, you see things differently. You do. Yesterday when I was working on patrol, as I was coming to the adult learning centre, do you know what was stood there with some of the people? They actually ran off after a while, but 4 coyotes. It's mental. I looked over and I was like, one lady was like really scared, and these 4 coyotes were just by the magic carpet. It was brilliant. Wish I'd have had my camera, because it was an extraordinary thing to see that. They were just stood there watching, and then they just ran off.
I'm quite sent me a picture of a grizzly there.
Yeah, and apparently there's a moose as well. Yeah, somebody was telling me yesterday they saw a moose, so they're coming back. Wildness is coming back. Yogis by nature are wild people, like take Shiva with dreadlocks, meditated for 1,000 years. He was Pashupati, which is another name for Shiva, means Lord of the Beasts. So, you know, all these yogis had a connection and affinity with animals, you know. And actually, one of our students in here today, his dad is an avalanche expert, and his dogs were very special. Those dogs, they can save people's lives quicker than any transceiver can. You know, if you rely on animals, they'll take care of you. And you know what, if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, then you have to observe that ultimately life isn't chaotic in the nature. If you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, it's likely you might get eaten. Like, for instance, you wouldn't go swimming with a great white and think to yourself, you know, I'm a yoga student and I'm going to be good to go. But they just do what they do best. You know, I find sharks interesting. You know, the ultimate killing machine in the ocean. However, how could someone chop off a fin and see that as something that would be a good thing to eat, and then just leave the creature flanking around in the ocean? That doesn't make sense to me either. I'll tell you a funny story. I bought 2 lobsters in nesters. I put them in a bag and then I let them go down in the Lionsgate. The man in there thinks I'm crazy. He said, uh-oh, she's come for another 2 to let them go. He said, you know they're probably just going to catch them again. I said, but you know what, if they have a day of freedom, it makes me feel good. And I swear to God, this one looked at me and was like, thanks, and then it just went. How it stings, and it did sort of do its little thing to try and pinch me, but off it went, and I felt good about that. And you know what, if it gets caught and gets eaten, well, it had even 5 minutes is better than nothing, isn't it? Close your eyes. Take a moment to come to that beautiful, sweet spot, and just think about in your life an animal that's made a difference to you. Think about it fondly. Maybe as a child you had a best friend. You know, I know some people have mice, rats. There's all sorts of creatures that you can communicate with. Of course, we're lucky we've got the beautiful black bears. Apparently there is a moose hanging around here. How amazing is that? And like Sylvia just said, somebody has taken a picture of a grizzly bear. It's good for us to open our eyes and see these creatures. It would be such a sad place without them. It would be lonely, I think. When the last beast is gone, as far as I'm concerned, I think that life would be terribly empty. Let's chant therefore LOKA Samastasiddhino Bhavatu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. May the thoughts, words and actions of our life contribute in some way to that happiness and to that freedom for all. We have a sutra we're going to chant, and then we're going to chant Om. And hopefully we'll have some animal friends. language with the Om is unmistakable. Not any of the other sounds have that same effect as the sacred orb.